for the owner to go out there and sit, read a book, just sit quietly and start to gain the dog's trust again, or, put out a humane trap, or start to lure the dog closer and closer to some kind of an enclosure. But again, it takes a long time, and sometimes people just aren't that patient. But
Yeah.
The other thing we always say is it's the dog's timeline. I mean, and we don't want to admit that, but the dog is in control, and we've got to play by their timeline, not by our timeline. So we've got to wait it out sometimes.
Yeah, I know, and it is hard because people these days want instant gratification and sitting for hours on end. Thankfully there are the people that will do that and put forth that effort, but it's hard. It's a hard thing. I have told people this year that rather than going out and chasing after whatever, why don't you offer to hang or deliver flyers for people? Because that was one thing that stuck with me that you had mentioned before, and that's an important thing. We've had really good stories recently that people, as soon as I put the flyer up, I got a call, and that's, they have to know that part of, finding a lost pet isn't just running after and doing what they think is the thing to do, because as you're explaining, it isn't. That flyering is one of the top things to do instead.
Absolutely. And because that gives you then you start to get the sightings that then give you the indication of where you should put a feeding station, and where you can start to, set up a safe place for that dog to relax and hang around. I sometimes think I try to, like when I'm talking to an owner, like some owners can be very objective, and of course they're emotionally attached to their dog, but they also can understand that right now this is a wild animal and they have to think differently. Some owners can't, they're so distraught that they actually end up being more of a hindrance, because every time they go out there, they're in such a heightened state of anxiety that the dog sense that, the dog doesn't understand that that's their owner. They just understand that there's some freaked out lady over there that they better get away from as quick as possible.
Yeah, no, you're right. I know. Yeah, dogs have those senses that they know. They just know,
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Well, this topic is really, I mean, we have a flyer or a graphic that we post whenever somebody starts, I have a sighting, whatever. And I also do try to tell people, please don't post the sighting all over Facebook either. You don't want to do that, because this will happen, what we're talking about, if they just do that. And sometimes people get a little upset that, I won't do that for them, but I believe that it's a hindrance.
Yes. And you don't know also that somebody might not try to rush out their scoop, thinking that they can just scoop up your dog, and then, try to, extort money out of you. That might be their intent. And then when they don't catch your dog, well, now they've just chased it out of the area, and again, perhaps into traffic. The other big problem with keeping pressure on a dog is that it becomes a logistical nightmare for the owner, because every time you pressure the dog out of the flyered area, you just make the problem worse again. Now you have to flyer a new area. It costs more money for printing. It costs more money for gas. It costs, emotional, it causes emotional anxiety for the owner, because now they're feeling like they're having to start all over again. And it could possibly cause them to give up, because they're just thinking, oh my gosh, we're starting to make progress getting the dog to stay in one area, and now he's gone again, and we have no idea where he's gone. And we've got to start all over again from square one. And giving up is what makes, more dogs are not reunited because the owner gives up than really for any other reason. And we can't always have people out there physically helping all the time. It's really the owner that's got to carry the majority of the weight of the whole operation.
Mm-hmm. And I think, this part that we're talking about is one of those times that, the monitoring of the information that is getting put out there is very important too, because you do want to monitor the comments and you want to monitor the advice, because oftentimes the advice in these situations is the wrong advice.
Absolutely, yes. So that's where we'll watch those posts really carefully, in as many places as we can, because again, you'll get people wanting to put sightings there, which then we will remove, or once we know that the owner knows where the sighting was. But we don't want those exact sightings on there. It's just really, some bad information, like, oh, put a trap down. Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. You just can't put a trap on the ground and hope the dog's going to jump in. And you can actually, you can actually cause problems with that, because if you don't set the trap properly, and we always recommend bunging the trap open or zip tying it open until we know that the dog is going in and out comfortably, because if you just set the trap right away and the dog goes partway in and senses something is up and then goes to back out and doesn't get caught, that trap comes down on his back or his butt. Not only could he be injured, he will probably never go near a trap again. And so now you've totally taken that option off the table of trapping the dog, because he won't go near a trap again. He got hurt by it once, and he's not going to go near it again.
Yeah.
So that's always something that we see. People think, oh, well, I'm just going to put a trap out and set it, and without really, having had the experience of having that happen, and then realizing that now, you don't have that option anymore to trap the dog, and you've got a harder job ahead of you.
Yeah.
Now the dog is even more mistrustful.
Yeah. So, Kathy, we're down to a couple minutes left already again, and if there's any particular part of this topic that we haven't mentioned yet, if you could just, briefly sum it up, maybe.
Yeah, and I would just say that the one other thing that we'll see problems with is if you are working with a group of people, try to get them all on the same page to understand. Go to our website, read the articles on safely capturing a shy dog, and then try to really get everybody on the same page. We see that happen a lot with rescues when they lose a newly adopted dog or a dog in transport or something. Everybody, again, wants to be a hero, and everybody wants to be an expert, and they rush out there, and they may have the enthusiasm the first day or two to do a lot of work and a lot of, flyering and stuff. But then as they, as the time drags on, life gets in the way, and they want to go back to their life because they're really not that emotionally bonded to the dog. And so, sorry, that was kind of off on another topic, but we do have a whole series of articles on our website called, I think it's called Harnessing the Energy, about what happens, how you can help if your rescue or shelter has lost a dog, and how you can get everybody on the same page.
Okay.
For a successful recovery, because that is a problem as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And now, if you would just let everyone know where to go for your webpage so that they can read all these important articles that you've written, that would be great.
Yeah, so it's lostdogsofamerica.org, and if you look on the right-hand side of the website under categories, there is a Shy Lost Dog series, which is a 15-part series on how to capture a shy lost dog. And then there's also another category called Shy Lost Dog Strategies, and it talks a lot about little bits and pieces of what we've just talked about today. So you might find something useful in there. And then on Facebook, we're Lost Dogs of America. That's it, Lost Dogs of America. And we try to share tips and stories on there.
All right. Well, As always, Kathy, thank you again for being with me. This is a really important topic, and you can go back and listen to this over and over. We'll post it on Let's Talk Pets Radio on Facebook when it's out, so that you'll be able to hear it and share it with other people as well, because it is so important. So for now, I'm going to have to say goodbye, everybody, and thanks again, Kathy, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Okay. All right, everybody. So for now, it's time to say goodbye. So please remember, a lost pet can't tell anyone where it lives. So be sure it's wearing its ID tags and that it is microchipped and that microchip is registered and up to date. I'm your host, Patty Giarrusso, and this has been Let's Talk Pets on Society Bites Radio. Thanks for joining us today. And until next time, take care and keep your pets safe.